Just before we went to break, I was teasing us with a big picture question there, Vezo, in terms of how we can really make the best of a situation where even when and President Trump are aligned, they still have to represent their own interests. And Donald Trump's going to do things not because it's good for everyone, but because it's good for Americans, because that is his job. And he has said America first. So there's going to be some sticking points, even between friends. I know softwood lumber is one that I just remember for years. I mean, as a school kid, I remember seeing headlines about softwood lumber. Those sorts of issues persist today. How do you anticipate a Polyev government navigating that? How should a new government navigate that?
Well, it was solved under the Harper administration, and of course, Pierre Poilievre had a front row seat in how that was done. Let me bring up the Buy America issue back in 2009, 2010, when it was revealed that the Americans would not allow Canadian goods to be used on federally funded projects in the United States. The Harper government, and Pierre was involved in this, immediately deployed into the United States to explain to the Americans that it was in their best interest to give essentially Canada an exemption. And in a record 8 months, Canada got an exemption to Buy America, essentially. And that proved.
How'd that work? They just went in person, took the meetings, made the human connections, showed the spreadsheets and the maps, and
that,
this
that
and that product works on the supply chain line and so on.
That's exactly it. And but fundamentally, Prime Minister Harper pressed President Obama every time they met. They met 8 times in person, and every time he brought up that issue. And finally, President Obama realized that it was in their best interest to work with Canada on this, and that's how we got the exemption. But it was persistence, persistence, persistence. So to answer your question, I think Pierre Poilievre will do the same. He saw that front row seat. I was in meetings with him where he was working on that file very diligently, and I think he's learned from the whole process. You know, Obama was a liberal and Harper was a conservative, but they were able to come to an agreement. I think President Trump will respect anybody who is putting their cards on the table and working for their own people. He will respect that, as he is going to be doing for America.
And you know, Vez, it's funny that you mentioned the persistence. Stephen Harper bringing up a softwood lumber issue or a general trade issue repeatedly. And in an earlier block, we were talking about how Justin Trudeau, while traveling the world, still brings up the idea, and pretty much his words, not ours, that climate activism matters more than looking after your kids. So he is persistent on that, and it seems like it really does tell us what your values are, what your priorities are, if you're hammering on about one thing as opposed to something else. And is it, I don't want to say that simple, but is that the contrast we're going to be seeing when we move from a Trudeau government to a Polyev government working with Trump?
Oh, I think it is that straightforward and that simple. And if you've noticed, Pierre Poilievre has been very vocal about a number of issues that are outstanding with the Americans. But he's also talked about needing to understand America's needs so that we can fulfill those needs. Remember, Mexico is the second largest trading partner with America right now. We have to change that. We have to become the second largest trading partner with America again.
What are you buying? Then we'll try and sell it to you.
Exactly. What do they need? They need rare earth metals.
I was
We
gonna say,
have
don't we have
lots.
resources here that maybe we could sort of kind of sell to other countries? I've heard about that a bit, you know.
We're the third largest oil reserve in the world. Isn't it better for the Americans to buy from us than to buy from unstable countries elsewhere in the world? There's a lot of reasons why we have been such good trading friends in the past, and I think we need to synergize and make sure that it works to the benefit of all of us. I'll never forget 1991, taking a course at Western University for an MBA. A friend was also taking the course from Kuwait. And he said, Ves, why is it that everybody in Canada doesn't drive a Mercedes? In Kuwait, everybody drives a Mercedes. It's all oil wealth that we distribute in various forms. And that really got me thinking back in 1991. Canada should be one of the richest countries in the world. I look forward to a government that can work with the Americans to synergize to make sure that it's to the benefit of all Canadians.
Finally fulfilling our potential as an energy superpower. and finally finding a way to reverse that rather shocking reality that Vezo just reminded us of. We are now the US's number 2 trading partner. How do we reverse that? Let's drill down on that next.